It's early morning off the Norfolk coast. A team of Greenpeace climbers are on their way to their next big protest. A giant piece of art, designed by the Turner Prize winner Sir Anish Kapoor. Not in an art gallery or a public square, but on an offshore gas site.
I felt that there was a moment when it's necessary to somehow give voice to this criminal, morally corrupt thing that we're allowing in our midst, constantly, every day, all the time.
This project, called Butchered, has seen Kapoor collaborate with Greenpeace. Their team set off in boats and made their way to Skiff, a gas platform run by Shell. They first put together the 12-metre by 8-metre frame and secured it to the side of the structure. Then unfurled the canvas, before using a pressure hose to first cover the backdrop in seawater so as to saturate the surface, to then allow Kapoor's famous dark red to seep in. The pigment is natural and biodegradable, of course, 1,000 litres of it sprayed onto the canvas. Kapoor says this is a symbol of the wound inflicted by oil and gas companies on our planet.
We've just lived through part of a summer of extreme heat. One thing to have that in Europe, where we're all prosperous and able to withstand. What about the global south? What about those who can't?
Does this feel like you are making a shift then? You want to get a bit more political?
Well, let's say it's not overtly readable as a political act. However, its location, its the sense of occasion states that it is such. I'm at peace with that as an artist.
But I guess you must understand with this one, you might get a bit more criticism.
It's good. Criticism is most welcome. I think that's the point.
This was an artwork years in the making, secretive plans and constant preparation. In response, Shell said,
Greenpeace entered a restricted safety zone around the platform without permission. Their actions are extremely dangerous, involve illegally trespassing and putting their own and others' lives at risk. We respect the right of individuals and organisations to protest, but it must be done safely and lawfully.
Greenpeace are used to putting themselves on the line for the cause of the planet. But this is something new for Kapoor, who has an urgency and anger about calling out those responsible for climate change. Before you've used the Picasso quote, that art is war. Do you feel like you want to declare war, in a sense?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. How can it be that this, if you like, communal resource that's in the ground, under the sea, etc., is exploited by a few big companies, Shell being one of them, of course, and they make most of the global warming?
And when those companies say that they will start going down a path of net zero?
Of course not. We live in a climate now of climate change deniers. Look at what's happening, right-wing governments across the globe.
And so what do you hope comes from?
At the very least, let's say, a growing awareness amongst a bigger portion of the population, I hope. We know that our rights in these areas are being eroded continually. Even in the UK, we have to reclaim the individual's right to protest.
Obviously, you mentioned protest, which is so within the headlines at the moment about the right to protest. Do you feel like that's also part of what Butchered is about?
Well, it has to be. It has to be. This sense that we have the right to scream, no less, scream, that things aren't as they need to be.
Are there limits to that at all? I mean, were you comfortable when, Just Stop Oil throws soup on a Van Gogh painting?
Inevitably, there are limits, inevitably. But I feel that somehow the questions are now so grave that we have to act with equal gravitas. And sometimes it's a little bonkers. So what?
Would you go and do something bonkers, illegal, stand in front of a motorway, or?
I think yes.
So if this doesn't do what you want it to do, that might be the next step.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, but I do call on my fellow artists to take action There are many who do already, but I think we need to step further into this and take action to save this beautiful world we live in.